Ever heard of golden paste or turmeric paste for dogs? It's usually made at home and it usually contains turmeric, black pepper, water and or coconut oil. It has become quite popular and for good reason because a lot of people claim turmeric specifically has some incredible health benefits. And we all want our dogs to be as healthy as possible, right? So it makes a lot of sense that so many people have started feeding this to their dogs. However, turmeric, or more specifically curcumin, which is the part of turmeric that we're interested in, is poorly absorbed by the body for both us humans and our dogs. Which is kind of strange in itself, don't you think? Because why wouldn't the body want to absorb something if it's so healthy? And in addition, due to this poor absorption, black pepper is usually added because it's claimed that black pepper can actually increase the absorption of curcumin of up to 2000%. Sounds amazing! But how does black pepper actually increase the absorption of curcumin? And could this actually cause harm to our dog's digestive system? Or to our dog's defense mechanism against harmful substances? That's exactly what we'll look at in this video. Maybe golden paste isn't so golden after all. Hi, I'm Ingrid, the Norwegian Viking behind Viking Dog Girl. I hold a certificate as a pet food nutrition specialist and I'm here every week sharing all things dog. And I like to do things the Viking way, which means no sugarcoating and no BS. I like to break myths and I look for the truth, just so that you can help your dog be as healthy and happy and live as long as possible. Now, in case you haven't heard of golden paste or turmeric paste before, or maybe you've heard of it but don't really understand why people are actually feeding this to their dogs, here are some of the incredible health benefits people claim it may have. It's a natural detox, it has anti-inflammatory agents, it fights bacteria, it has health benefits for the heart and liver, can reduce blood clots, promotes digestive health, and it even fights cancer. Now, this is because of the substance curcumin, which is part of turmeric. Now, of course, with all these claimed health benefits, it's easy to understand why so many people would want to feed this to their dogs, don't you agree? Now, there have been quite a few studies done on curcumin. However, it's important to note that a lot of those studies are done in vitro, which basically means that they study in test tubes or under the microscope, but not by actually feeding, for instance, dogs or humans, actual curcumin and then looking at how it affects the body. In vitro studies will not prove whether or not there are actual health benefits to consuming curcumin. For that, you would need actual clinical trials. Now, it's very widely known that curcumin is poorly absorbed by the human body, and there's also a study showing that it's poorly absorbed by our dogs. Now, I just think it's interesting to know that curcumin is actually poorly absorbed by both us and our dogs, because if it's supposedly so healthy, why wouldn't the body want to absorb all this goodness? Now, people don't seem to be very concerned about that, especially because they've found a way to increase the absorption of curcumin in the body, specifically by using black pepper, or more specifically by using pepperin, which is part of black pepper. There is a study that was done on both rats and humans, and what they found was that pepperin increased the absorption of curcumin in both rats and humans. In humans, it actually increased the absorption of curcumin up to 2000%. That sounds like a winner if you ask me. However, note that without pepperin, the absorption of curcumin was very low, which basically means that if you increase that absorption of up to 2000%, that doesn't necessarily mean there's a very high absorption. 2000% increase of something very, very small is not necessarily that significant. Well, pepperin is fairly known actually to be used in order to increase the absorption of several different substances. So let's just play along here. The question now becomes, how does piperine actually increase the absorption? Because if we're going to feed this to our dogs, we should have an idea of how it actually affects our dogs' bodies. Don't you agree? Now, piperine's effect on the body doesn't seem to have been studied much in dogs, so let's use humans as an example, and I'll tell you why this makes a lot of sense for our dogs as well shortly. Now, one study shows that piperine increases the intestinal permeability. Now, what does that mean? The walls of our intestines are designed in a certain way so that only specific particles are actually allowed to pass through that wall. This is very important because it lets only the particles that are actually useful to our bodies pass through that wall, and we can eliminate everything else through our digestive system. This means we can eliminate anything we don't find useful and also harmful substances. Now, if we increase the intestinal permeability, that basically means that more particles can actually pass through that wall. In the case of curcumin, that might be a good thing. However, this increased permeability is not specific to curcumin. Other particles may now also pass through that wouldn't have normally been able to pass through just because we added black pepper. It's like piperine black pepper has actually opened more doors, and maybe bigger doors as well, so that more particles can enter through those walls of our intestines and into the rest of our body, which could mean that not only the good particles are now able to pass through the intestinal walls, but maybe also some harmful particles. By the way, if you enjoy this kind of no BS, give it to you straight kind of videos on all things dog, then make sure you click that subscribe button and turn on notifications to follow my channel. And make sure you also follow me on Instagram at VikingIngun. Now, there's another way that piperine may actually affect the absorption of certain substances in our bodies. And that is by inhibiting certain metabolizing enzymes. Now, digestion is a very complex system. We really don't know everything about how our digestive system actually works yet. Maybe we'll never know. Anyway, I'm not going to go into detail about it here. I'm just going to try to explain in a sort of basic way, just to make my point. Basically, there's something called enzymes that may, in a way, actually metabolize or consume certain specific substances that pass through our digestive system. And it does so in a way so that we won't be able to absorb those substances. Pretty clever, especially if these substances are substances we really do not want inside our bodies. In a way, you can look at it as a kind of a protection mechanism. However, piperine in black pepper may actually inhibit these metabolizing enzymes, which may make it possible for our bodies to actually absorb some of those substances after all. Again, this might be a good thing when it comes to curcumin, if curcumin actually has all those amazing health benefits as it's claimed to have. The thing is, why does our bodies actually have this ability to sift through the food that we eat and target specific substances so that our bodies will not be able to absorb those substances? There is a reason our bodies know how to do this. It's a very good system and it keeps our bodies safe. However, by eating black pepper or feeding black pepper to our dogs, we may actually be inhibiting our bodies from doing that very important job, at least to a certain extent. Now, black pepper is added to golden paste, for instance, because it's supposed to increase the absorption of curcumin specifically. However, this increased absorption is not specific to curcumin. By opening all these additional doors in our intestinal walls and by inhibiting metabolizing enzymes, we're not only allowing curcumin to enter into our bodies, we're also allowing other particles to enter more easily. Some of those particles may be unnecessary and some of them may actually be harmful to our dogs. Now, piperine's effect on a dog's digestive system doesn't seem to have been studied. However, we can probably assume that it's at least similar to us humans, and here's why. Just think about it like this. Piperine is a plant substance, We humans are omnivores and used to eating quite a few plants. Dogs are carnivores. So if a plant has a negative effect on us humans, we could, in a way, assume that it would have at least as bad an effect on a carnivore dog or worse. Actually, piperine is also used in quite a few drugs because of this ability to increase absorption of different substances, which means it can increase the absorption of drugs as well. Again, that might be a good thing for the drug absorption, however, it opens up the doors for other substances as well. And once again, there must be a reason why curcumin is poorly absorbed in the first place, don't you think? Why would it be so poorly absorbed if it's so healthy? And on that note, especially if your dog is actually taking some drugs, you might want to be a bit careful about feeding golden paste, which includes black pepper, to your dog, because it may actually increase the absorption of, for instance, the drugs as well. So I would say to check in with your veterinarian in this case. Listen, I just wanted to give you a bit of a different kind of perspective on this whole golden paste thing, because it's very, very easy to claim all sorts of amazing health benefits. We hear it all the time that green tea is supposed to cure cancer or whatever. The thing is, when you look at the actual studies or evidence, if there is any at all, there can be so many flaws or unanswered very important questions that just nobody talks about. We would all, of course, love to be able to feed our dogs a pill or some golden paste and see our dogs magically become all healthy and happy. However, we need to make sure we keep our BS detectors on at all times. We need to uncover those things that may actually cause more harm than good. And that's why I look for the real truth so that you can help your dog be as healthy, happy, and live as long as possible. By the way, I just wanted to mention that in case you're interested in feeding an all-natural, delicious, real food diet to your dog, then you might want to check out the Viking Dog Diet System. It's a system that's based on science and it shows you step by step how to feed an all-natural, nutritious, real food, homemade diet to your dog in a simple way, including meal examples and even how to transition your dog to this diet. If you'd like to check it out, I suggest you head over to vikingdogdiet.com right now. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and if so, then give it a thumbs up and remember to share it so that we can help more dogs out there be as healthy, happy, and live as long as possible. Give your beautiful dog a hug for me, and I'll see you next time. Bye.